Welcome back to the BJack 70 show. I'm your host, Brandon Jackson, and it's time to recap the draft. NFL draft just happened. Hopped right onto the podcast, onto the recording. Um, we're gonna go through all 32 picks. Not gonna spend a whole lot of time on all 32, but we will touch on all 32. Give a little bit of analysis for all of them, spend a little bit time on a couple more, talk a lot probably about the Cleveland Browns picks specifically, but we'll get a lot of analysis going for the other picks as well. But before you do that, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Go to patreon.com/bjack70. There will be coming soon, probably at the beginning of next week, more draft breakdowns, film breakdowns of Browns prospects specifically. So if you're a Browns fan, or if you just want to, watch some film, learn about a couple players, go head over to patreon.com/bjack70. Check that out. But it's late. Let's get into these picks. All right. So we know first overall, Fernando Mendoza, quarterback, going to the Las Vegas Raiders. We've known this for months now. No surprise here. Only analysis is Fernando Mendoza, his family. If you follow me on Twitter, you might have seen it. His family looks like a Purge family. And I won't be elaborating on that, but let's move forward. Number 2 overall, Jets take David Bailey, edge from Texas Tech. At the beginning, people were talking about Arvell Reese was going there, but in recent weeks, the pick has been David Bailey. Ended up being David Bailey in the long run, and David Bailey is going to help them win games. Let me pump the brakes. Win games might be a stretch, but David Bailey is going to improve their defense on day one. He's going to be a great edge rusher for them, and they got the best. They probably got the best edge rusher on the board. So shout out to the Jets there. This is where the draft really started. Number 3 overall, Arizona Cardinals take Jeremiah Love, running back from Notre Dame. I am a proponent of running backs mattering, but up to a point. Like Jeremiah Love for this Arizona Cardinals team, he's a great player. He's gonna make plays. He's gonna be a useful player for a very long time. But if it was me, I probably would have gone in a different direction if I was the Cardinals specifically. Offensive lineman, Arvell Reese, Caleb Downs, even Sonny Styles, even there would have been a lot more people on this draft board if I was the Cardinals specifically than to take Jeremiah Love. But they did it, and I have no qualms with Jeremiah Love as a player. He's going to be a great player. He is going to be 101 in all your dynasty fantasy football rookie drafts, first round pick in regular fantasy redrafts. Going to be a fun player to watch. They're going to get the football into his hands. With the salary cap rising, him going 3rd overall, $50 million guaranteed to a running back is I know it's the most ever to a running back. I don't know by how much, probably a whole lot. Probably need to check Christian McCaffrey's latest contract extension to see, what the top number is. But yeah, Jeremiah Love going to the Cardinals at 3. Interesting. We'll see how it plays out. We saw what Gentry did for the Raiders last season, which wasn't much, but I'm okay with these running backs going high. I would have liked it very much if he went number 4 to the next team, but he didn't. So speaking of number 4 to the next team was the Tennessee Titans. They took Carnell Tate, wide receiver from Ohio State. And I had Carnell Tate, wide receiver 1. If it was me, though, I wouldn't have taken him this high. If I was Tennessee, I'd probably be thinking more. Arvell Reese was still on the board. I'd have taken Arvell Reese. Sonny Styles was still on the board. I would have taken him. But I don't hate them supporting their number 1 overall pick last year, Cam Ward, getting him his wide receiver 1 in this draft. I don't necessarily love it, but I do not hate it. Carnell Tate, wide receiver 1 for me. I don't have an issue with him being the first one off the board. 4 might have been a little high for my taste, but it is what it is. Moving on to the next pick, number 5, Arvell Reese. This is where he goes, linebacker / edge out of Ohio State, goes to the New York Giants at 5, and I love it. I love it for the Giants. Getting him at 5 when I thought he was going to go 2, unbelievable value, just falling into their lap. John Harbaugh said in their press conference he's going to play off-ball linebacker, going to play will linebacker. That's going to be a special defense. Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, Arvell Reese is going to be special things going on in New York when they get that defense fully formed. If they can find out a replacement for Dexter Lawrence in the middle, as long as they can figure that out, it's going to be a special defense. They got a lot of talented guys on that defense. Number 6, first trade. Kansas City comes up to number 6, trades with the Browns. They take Mansour Delane, cornerback out of LSU. My cornerback 1 in the class. I love the pick. I'm assuming they thought he wouldn't have been on the board at 9. I wonder the way it fell. I'm wondering who would have taken him at 6, because Browns wouldn't have taken him at 6. Commanders with Sonny Styles on the board. I don't know. It could go either way, but I think the Saints would have still taken Tyson at 8, but they come up to 6. They get their guy. They get the number 1 corner in this draft and solidify that position. They had a couple of question marks in their cornerback room projected to start. Now, they take one of those question marks away and slot Mansour Delane right in there. I love that pick for them. They moved up to do it. They got their guy. Gotta respect that. And number 7, Washington Commanders take Sonny Styles, linebacker out of Ohio State. They needed to figure out playmakers on that defense, and Sonny Styles can be that playmaker. Super athletic, big size. Dan Quinn is probably going to have a lot of fun figuring out where and how to use Sonny Styles. I like the pick. I'm okay with it. Sonny Styles, great value, I think, at 7. I think a lot of people wanted Sonny Styles on their football team, but he fell to 7, and Washington got a good deal. So, number 8, New Orleans Saints take Jordan Tyson, wide receiver from Ohio State. Jordan Tyson is good. He's really good. Either next to Chris Olave, or if Chris Olave has always been mentioned in trade talks, we'll see if they keep him. They'll see if they'll pair those guys together. Jordan Tyson is going to do a lot of good things with Kellen Moore. I really love Jordan Tyson. I'm all in on Jordan Tyson in this draft. Number 8, there was a possibility he could have gone at 5 to the New York Giants. There was a lot of smoke there. And maybe he would have if Arvell Reese wasn't on the board. So Jordan Tyson got to number 8. New Orleans Saints, I know they're happy. I really felt like they were going to come out of this draft with a wide receiver, or at least day 1 with a wide receiver, and they went ahead and did so. Number 9, the Browns moved back with Kansas City, got their guy Spencer Fano, tackle offensive lineman out of Utah. So this seemingly was their guy. As soon as he could have taken a 30 visit, took a top 30 visit to Berea, Ohio, and met with the Cleveland Browns. Wasn't really reported on, wasn't really well known in the draft space. They kind of flew it under the radar that he came to visit, but this seemingly was their guy the whole time. Would have taken him at 6, reportedly, if they didn't get the trade back. So pick up a couple more assets, take their guy, offensive lineman, played left tackle his freshman year in college, moved over to right tackle in the last 2 years, has played right tackle at Utah in order for his teammate to do better, in order to help the team, help the offensive line be better. He said, I'm going to sacrifice. I'm going to move over to right tackle, let my guy Caleb Lomu play left tackle the last 2 years. So it is in his skill set to play left tackle. Andrew Berry has said multiple occasions, a tackle is a tackle. They can play either side. Spencer Fano was not my favorite offensive tackle in this class, but I'm okay with them taking him at 9. First offensive lineman on the board. I don't think it's a stretch. I don't think it's a surprise. I feel okay knowing this was their guy the whole time and that they're this sure about it. Taking him at 9 before a wide receiver, we'll see coming up, was the right decision with all the offensive tackles that came off the board before 24. That's something I knew, something I thought was going to happen. Offensive tackles flying off the board. A lot of smart people felt like that was going to happen. A lot of Cleveland Browns fans specifically, felt like they should take a wide receiver early. But I think they did the right thing. But we'll get to their later pick in a little bit. Number 10, New York Giants back on the clock. They take Francis Mauigoa, offensive tackle, offensive lineman out of the University of Miami. They won because this was a lot of people's offensive lineman 1 coming into the draft. I thought he was the best offensive lineman in the class. Wasn't my favorite offensive tackle. Freeling was my favorite offensive tackle. But that was just, personal preference. But I love Mauigoa's game. He got interviewed and said he's willing to die for Jackson Dart. If you're in the NFC East, I might be afraid. You got a guy day 1, minute 1, coming up on the draft stage and say, I'm willing to die out there multiple times. Y'all better get yourselves ready, get y'all affairs in order in the NFC East. Francis Mauigoa not playing with y'all boys. So Giants got better. Giants got unbelievable value for their number 5 and number 10 overall picks. It honestly was very impressive. Shout out to the New York Giants. Number 11, Cowboys traded up 1 spot to get their guy, Caleb Downs, safety out of Ohio State. Home run pick. Got Caleb Downs at 11. Unsure how he was able to survive this many picks. He's a dog, one of, if not the smartest football player in this draft, one of the smartest football players in this draft. He's immensely talented. Was, the best player on the field soon as he walked in the door at Alabama, playing for Nick Saban. Came over to Ohio State, best player on the defense as soon as he walked over to Ohio State. Can't say he was the best player on the team because they employ a guy named Jeremiah Smith, who we will be talking about a whole lot a year from now, but that's later. That's a different story. But Caleb Downs made it to 11 in Dallas. They did it, man. They did it. They got their guy. Number 12, Caden Proctor, Miami Dolphins got Caden Proctor, tackle out of Alabama. This is higher than people thought he might go. I don't have a problem with it. I like Caden Proctor. That's just me. You don't have to. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Is he going to stay a tackle in the league? Is he going to move into guard? Don't know. We'll figure it out. But I'm okay with him going 12 to Miami. Miami needs everything. They're trying to build the trenches out. Cool. I'm cool with that. Number 13, Los Angeles Rams select quarterback Ty Simpson from Alabama. From a franchise perspective, it makes sense because they don't plan on having a pick this high anytime soon. Because their Super Bowl window is open. I don't know what the odds are for 2020 for the 2027 Super Bowl, but they have to be high. So their Super Bowl window is open, and I think a lot of people wanted them to take a player that can make an impact now at 13. And I'm one of those people. But they did the calculus and realized that they're not going to be this high to take a quarterback in the foreseeable future. And this pick was given to them by the Atlanta Falcons. So they're going to take a quarterback that has the least amount of experience in the class. Has done some talented things on film, done some questionable things on film, but they have the luxury. They have the MVP at quarterback on their team. They have the luxury to sit Ty Simpson for as long as Matt Stafford continues to play and let him gain experience by sitting behind one of the best in the world. So at first glance, Rams taking Ty Simpson, what the hell are you doing? But if you think about it a little more, you can understand it. I don't like it, but I understand. I don't like it. If I was a Rams fan, I would be upset about it because I needed somebody to help us today because we are trying to win that Super Bowl right now. But I understand if you're in that front office and you plan to be there for a while. Les Snead and Sean McVay plan to be there for a while. So I get it, but I don't like it. All right, moving on. Number 14, the Baltimore Ravens select Vega Ione, offensive guard, Penn State. This is what they should have done. Great pick. All the mock drafts had this pick. I don't even remember. I made so many mock drafts. I don't remember what my last one was, if I had them picking him. I think I did, but I don't remember for sure. They needed interior offensive line help, and this was the best one on the board. So shout out to them. Number 15, Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Ruben Bain, edge from the University of Miami. And I thought Ruben Bain was going to be gone far before this. Tampa Bay gets lucky. They get one of the best edge rushers in the class. I think it's extremely great value. There's been a lot to say about how short Ruben Bain's arms are and blah, 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 but he's a dog on that football field. So Tampa's going to take the risk. They're going to see what they can get out of Ruben Bain, and I think it's a really good pick for them. Because they wanted, reportedly, they wanted Mesidor, Ruben's teammate, and they got Ruben. So that's a win. That is a win for Tampa Bay. Number 16, the New York Jets select Kenyon Sadiq, tight end out of Oregon. And They need pass catchers. They need reliable pass catching targets on the New York Jets, and Sadiq is one of them. I don't have any qualms about this pick. We'll talk more about what I think about their first round as a whole with their last pick that they traded up to get towards the end of the first round. Number 17, Detroit Lions. I have been having them take an offensive tackle all spring, or all off season. They took an offensive lineman, but not the one I thought they would take, given everybody that was on the board. They took Blake Miller out of Clemson. Blake Miller is going to stay at right tackle. Penei Sewell is going to move to left tackle. I was not a fan of Blake Miller. I feel like this is high, but if Dan Campbell likes him, that's his decision. That they can do what they wish. They've done well with their early draft picks. So if this is what they chose to do, good for them. I wouldn't have taken Blake Miller here, especially with Monroe Freeling on the board still. Number 18, Minnesota Vikings take Caleb Banks, defensive tackle out of Florida. This one was picking up steam. I still thought they would take the Eneman, but Caleb Banks there had been rumblings about Caleb Banks to Minnesota. I'd seen just a few mock drafts with this pick in it. But yeah, they went in a direction I didn't think they would go. Number 19, the Carolina Panthers take Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle from the University of Georgia. I love the pick for them because I love Monroe Freeling. They saw the landscape of the board. They saw Freeling was still there. I'm sure they were shocked and appalled and stunned that Monroe Freeling was still there, and they pulled the trigger. This is, in its own way, this is help for Bryce Young. So I support the pick. Number 20 overall, the Eagles traded up to select Makai Lemon, wide receiver from USC. The Pittsburgh Steelers were on the phone with Makai Lemon, preparing to take him at number 21. Dallas trades the pick to Philadelphia, and they take Makai Lemon. We now know AJ Brown post June 1st is going to be up out of there. Probably going to be a Patriot. Wherever he ends up, if it's not New England, it won't be Philadelphia, because this is pretty much confirmation of that. Makai Lemon, Mel Kiper's wide receiver 1. A lot of people's wide receiver 1 in this draft, but definitely one of those core top 3 guys at wide receiver in this draft. They got their guy. They got the guy they think is going to be a stud next to Devontae Smith. I like the fit here. I appreciate them coming to take Makai Lemon from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that's a great move. They needed a wide receiver, and they got one because they got one. He wouldn't have been on the board at 23. I really thought there was a tier break between those first 3 guys and the next 3 guys. So shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles. They made a play. They got their guy. So shout out to them. Number 21, Pittsburgh Steelers take Max Ahenachor, offensive tackle from Arizona State. I had them taking a tackle. I thought they would take Lomu with him still on the board, but they took Max from Arizona State. No qualms with this pick. I felt like they needed a tackle. And they got one that they apparently wanted on the board. I got no problems, nothing bad to say about this one. Number 22, Los Angeles Chargers take Akeem Mesidor, edge from University of Miami. I thought he was going to go a little bit earlier than this, but maybe the age, he's 25, played a part in it, but Chargers get a good one. Get a good one. Khalil Mack is not getting any younger. He'll be able to slide right into that role once Khalil Mack, decides to hang it up. But yeah, I got no qualms with them going edge here. It was either going to be edge or it was going to be interior offensive lineman. Looks like they felt edge was the better play at 22 with how the board shook out. And I think I would agree. I think I agree with them. Getting Mesidor there was probably a good pick. Number 23, Dallas Cowboys They traded 20, come back to 23 to Malachi Lawrence, the edge out of UCF. There was a lot of Malachi Lawrence's like first round stock surged in the last couple of days. So I felt like he would make it into the first round. I think I had him going 31 to the New England Patriots in my mock draft 3.0, if I'm correct. But I had him going in the first round. I knew he would go somewhere. Didn't know that he would go to Cowboys here, but they had the pick of the litter, across the board, and they chose Malachi Lawrence. Not mad at it. They won tonight. They got Caleb Downs. They got an edge they liked. That's a good draft for them. We'll see how it goes moving forward. They're going to need all the defensive pieces that they can possibly collect. But that was a good start. Number 24, Cleveland Browns, stay put, take KC Concepcion, wide receiver out of Texas A&M. And there's people that love KC Concepcion. There's people that hate him. I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle on him with the board going how it went. I very much would have rathered Omar Cooper Jr. be the pick at wide receiver here, but I'm not mad. The Cleveland Browns had an objective. They had a mission to come out of day one with a wide receiver and an offensive tackle. They got both. Don't know how high KC Concepcion was on their wide receiver list, but Spencer Fano was number one on their offensive tackle list. So Browns came out mission accomplished. They did what they needed to do. They did what they wanted to do. I would have loved if Browns traded up, get Mekhi Lemon, but that wasn't in the cards. I understand why it went how it went. And they got, I wish it would have been Cooper is what I'll hang my hat on, but I am not mad at KC and Concepcion. So they mission accomplished. That's what I'm gonna hang my hat on. Mission accomplished. Not my favorite two guys, but they got two good guys. And if you're a Browns fan and you're upset right now, I understand there were some more potentially flashy names that they could have gotten on the board, but I think it bodes well that they knew what they wanted to do. They had an objective and they completed the objective. I think we should be happy that they showed the traits of a competent organization in this draft. Time will tell. I think we'll see if Fano ends up as a good left tackle. If it doesn't work out that way, I believe he will be able to be a good player somewhere on the offensive line. We will see what it looks like with Concepcion. Time will tell. Number 25, Chicago Bears take Dylan Thieneman. Didn't think he would get here. At points in the offseason, I've mocked Emmanuel McNeil-Warren to the Bears. So safety was on their radar. Once Thieneman fell this far, I felt like it was probably there was probably a good chance they pull the trigger here, especially with the edges that came off the board. I think this was a good pick for them. Good for the Bears. Not a whole lot more to say. I think this was a really good pick for the Chicago Bears. Number 26, the Texans trade up to 26, take offensive guard Keelan Rutledge. I believe I had them taking Rutledge. Well, I don't remember for sure. There's so many mock drafts. One of the mock drafts, I'm pretty sure I had them taking Rutledge. But all of these mock drafts, I had them taking an offensive lineman, whatever offensive lineman they can get their hands on. They get the best guard left. Not surprised to see his name called in the first round. Thought that this was going to be a possibility for a good couple weeks now. They attacked what they needed to attack in that interior offensive line. I think they'll continue to attack the rest of the offensive line throughout the rest of this draft because it's a huge need. They got to protect their investment in CJ Stroud because they have receivers. They got their quarterback. They need to make sure that they protect him and keep him upright. Number 27, the Miami Dolphins traded up to 27. They take Chris Johnson, cornerback out of San Diego State. Chris Johnson had a lot of first-round buzz. I believe this would make him cornerback 2. Yeah, this makes him cornerback 2, which I was a little surprised by. In the last couple of days specifically, the Jermon McCoy smoke had been that he was going to fall out of the first, but I was wondering if Colton Hood was going to come up and take over that number 2 corner spot. But it was Chris Johnson at, towards the end of the first. Really good corner. I'm okay with the Dolphins making a move to get their guy. Like I said, they need everything, and I have no problem with what the Dolphins did in this draft. Number 28, the Patriots move up to select Caleb Lomu, offensive tackle out of Utah. I like Caleb Lomu. I like him at tackle. Are the Patriots? Is this a sign? Are they moving Will Campbell? Somebody's getting moved because there's only one person that can play left tackle. Is it going to be Lomu? Is it going to be Campbell? We will see. As of recording, before I started recording, I haven't seen anything on what their plans are. Don't know if Mike Vrabel is going to do a post-draft press conference. There's a lot of things on his mind today specifically, so don't know if he'll be available to do any speaking about draft prospects. If he is there, don't know if they're going to ask any questions about draft prospects. There's a lot going on with Mike Vrabel right now. Maybe they don't make him available. What I really would like to know what their plans are at left tackle. They may be known now, but I've been recording, so haven't been able to see it. But I'm really very much interested to know how that's going to go. Number 29, Kansas City Chiefs stay put, take Peter Woods, defensive tackle out of Clemson. I thought they were going to take an edge rusher, but they took Peter Woods. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Peter Woods' ceiling is very high. I didn't know if he would get taken in the first round or not. I really like Peter Woods. I didn't have him mocked going in the first because I didn't know teams felt like he was undersized. He's been inconsistent, but ever since he was a freshman, I've loved Peter Woods and seeing what he's been capable of on film is very impressive. He just has to make sure that he's more consistent in doing that. Number 30, Jets trade back into the first round and they take Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver from Indiana. The Jets got better. Jets took Arvell Reese, Kenyon Sadiq, Omar Cooper Jr. Three really, really, really good prospects, two pass catchers. The offense is going to be better. The offense is going to be a lot better. Geno Smith going to be quarterback in the offense. They got better. I don't know if it's going to lead to more wins, but I think the Jets will be a fun team to watch, and they're going to be a team to watch in 2027 and moving forward. I love Geno, but I don't think Geno is going to be the quarterback of that football team for more than one season. I think if you're a New York Jets fan, you better get ready to learn Dante Moore, get ready to learn Arch Manning, get ready to learn Brendan Sorsby, whoever. Get ready to learn CJ Carr. Somebody's coming. And is Aaron Glenn going to be the head coach when that happens? Not my place to say. But the Jets got better today. I love what they did in this first round, and I no problems with it. The Tennessee Titans traded up to number 31, took Keldrick Falk, edge out of Auburn. I had him going way earlier than this. Had him going in the top half of the draft. I think the Titans got a good player. Robert Saleh, I feel like is going to get good production out of Keldrick Falk. Whether that production comes mostly from edge, whether it comes from free technique, he's a bigger guy. He will be able to move around on that defensive line a little bit. But I'm wondering if he lives at edge or if he lives at a three technique. We'll see going forward. And the last pick of the first round, I nailed this in mock draft 3.0. 32nd pick of the first round, Seattle Seahawks take Jadarian Price, running back out of Notre Dame. And he's a very good running back, would have started for a bunch of other teams, but he just happened to be on the same team as the best running back in this class. Seahawks needed a running back bad. I actually respect and appreciate them for saying positional value be damned. We only have 4 picks in the draft. We need a running back. We need to get this dude right now. They have no real starting running back on the squad except for Jadarian Price. Zach Charbonnet I believe tore his ACL. Maybe he tore his ACL like late in the season, like I believe in January. So he won't be right heading into week 1. If he is, I wouldn't trust it. But even besides that, they didn't really have a good situation behind him. Jadarian Price, ostensibly going to be the starter. I got no problems, and I respect the fact that they loved him enough to take him at 32, didn't care about what everybody else has going on, what the analysts will say. Running backs don't matter, don't care. I love it. I respect it. So that was day 1. That was 32 first-round picks. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you, coming to hang out post-draft with your boy. We will be back at some point over the weekend to talk about more draft-related things. There's a lot of great players still left on the board. I'm going to look at this best player available list. You got Jermon McCoy, McNeil Warren, Avion Terrell, Denzel Boston, Caden McDonald, Zion Young, Cassius Hyle, Colton Hood, Chase Basantes, Anthony Hill Jr. The list goes on. There's so many great football players left. I'm very intrigued at what the Cleveland Browns will do at number 39. But yeah, man, tune into the draft on Friday. I will we'll. I don't know. I'm gonna figure out what content will be posted this weekend. That's why you should subscribe to the channel. You'll be the first to know about any content that comes out. So subscribe to the channel, like the video, tell a friend, share it, post it, retweet it, whatever you can do helps the channel. Appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you guys later this weekend.